So Rishi Sunak, the Chancellor of the Exchequer, has delivered his budget and his comprehensive spending review, setting out the details of government spending to the end of this Parliament. He's managed a relatively difficult political job of portraying himself as a tax-cutting Chancellor. That's clearly the person he wants to be seen as, balancing the books and being fiscally responsible, whilst also hitting the Prime Minister Boris Johnson's desire to be seen as a big spender and a big investor. The broader fiscal outlook is much better than we expected. That's primarily because we've already seen significant tax rises announced, corporation tax, freezing of income tax, personal allowance bans, and the new health and social care levy. That, combined with a much stronger performance of the UK economy since the OBR last updated its forecasts in March, has given him significant fiscal room, and he's used that opportunity to spend big, find some giveaways, but also direct some of that cash to balancing the books. Most of the budget, of course, was been leaked gradually over the last few days. There aren't too many surprises in there. Perhaps the biggest rabbit that came out of the hat at the last minute was a decrease in the taper rate for universal credit. That'll make a big difference for the poorest working households who receive universal credit. Instead of keeping only 37 pence in every additional pound they earn, that's going to go up to 45p. But it still isn't enough to rebalance the books of those households who've seen that temporary £20 uplift in universal credit removed. Combined, of course, with higher inflation, the OBR is expecting it to average 4% next year. It's more likely to peak close to 5% in the beginning of 22, is still going to deliver some significant cost challenges for many households. A few big announcements have been kicked into the long grass. We discover that we're still awaiting the integrated rail plan and the levelling up white paper. Also, the Augur review, the big review into higher education funding. All of those things are due, apparently, from the budget documents in the coming weeks. We expect most of those to land before Christmas. The really big one to watch for here is the levelling up paper. We know about the transport announcements already, 5.7 billion, though we should say only 1.7 of that is new money that's being sent to combined authority regions around the UK. Greater Manchester and Liverpool, big beneficiaries of that, with about 1.7 billion between them. The mayors have welcomed this fund. Of course they have. It's great capital investment into increasing bus frequencies, cross-city bus routes, cycling, and investment into green transport. But it doesn't come yet with any of that important revenue spending that they're going to need if they're going to be able to lower the price of regular bus tickets to a level similarly seen in London. Other good news we've seen is an increase in overall spending going to non-protected departments. That's really important because health, education, defence, and to some extent international aid, which will go back to its 0.7% of GDP towards the end of this Parliament, have all been protected and seen real term increases. Other departments, particularly local government and justice, have really been squeezed since 2010, and it's good to see that they are now seeing some real-term increases over the Parliament. What we must remember, though, is that money still goes nowhere close to eradicating the cuts they've seen since 2010, and whilst we get good news in things like the increase in the national living wage, what we must understand is that all of those government departments will see increased wage bills from that, alongside increased wage bills from the removal of the public sector pay freeze. We don't know yet how much that's going to be. The independent pay body will report before April. But those things are going to have to be funded, and it looks like there isn't additional money within the departmental budgets to handle that. So we welcome the pay rises. People have seen their pay frozen for a long time within the public sector. We welcome the pay rises to the lower paid through the national living wage. But the question now is exactly how much will department budgets be squeezed by having to pay for that. In areas like social care, yes, it's receiving additional funding over the next 3 years through the health and social care levy on national insurance, but there's a lot of workers in that sector who are on national living wage, and that money to increase their pay is going to have to come out of delivering those core resources. There's lots more to come. As always, there are hundreds of pages of documents that we need to now start analysing. I'll be coming back over the next couple of days with some more detailed analysis of exactly what's happened in this budget, and I look forward to speaking to you then.